Think about who you were in 2018. Not nostalgically, I mean really, sit with it. What we were tolerating, what we were afraid to say, the decisions we kept handing to other people because we didn't quite trust ourselves enough to make them alone. Now, look at who we are now. Something fundamentally shifted. We know it. And I think it's time we actually name what happened because this guy has been working on us for 7 years and it's almost finished. I'm Lucy and this is Find Your Whisper, where we look at astrology not as a prediction but as a mirror, a way of understanding what's already moving inside us. And right now, there is a transit happening that I genuinely believe has shaped the last 7 years of our lives. Whether we've been following astrology or not, Chiron is an asteroid that sits between Saturn and Uranus. In mythology, he was the greatest teacher and healer of his time. A centaur, half god, half animal, carrying a wound that could never fully heal, and yet becoming the teacher of heroes precisely because of it. In astrology, Chiron marks the place of our deepest wound and our deepest mastery, not one without the other, always both. And since 2018, Chiron has been moving through Aries. Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of pure, undiluted self, not the self shaped by family, not the self that learned to be manageable, the part that exists before all the conditioning, the part that says, I am, I want, I choose, I begin. Now here's something I want to be precise about, because the actual timeline matters. Chiron first touched Aries on April 17, 2018, but it was a preview, a first knock on the door. By September, it went retrograde, back into Pisces, as if to say, not yet, there is still something we need to finish. Then, on February 18, 2019, it entered Aries for good. The real work began. So when I ask us to think about 2018 and 2019, I'm not being poetic. There was a literal astrological turning point. And now in 2026, it's closing. On June 19th, Chiron makes its first move into Taurus. It will return briefly to Aries in September for one final retrograde pass, one last integration, and then on April 14, 2027, it leaves Aries permanently. The chapter closes for good. So what has this 7-year transit actually been doing? Chiron in Aries has been targeting the most foundational wound there is. The belief that we need external permission to trust our own inner knowing. For some of us, it looked like staying in relationships that were already over, waiting for a sign clear enough to justify living. For others, shrinking ambition into something more reasonable, something less likely to be questioned. The through line in all of it, a subtle, persistent disbelief in our own authority. And the healing didn't arrive as a revelation. It arrived as accumulation. The time we said what we actually meant and didn't soften afterwards. The decision we made without needing 3 people to confirm first. The thing we stopped tolerating quietly without drama simply because we finally knew we were allowed to. Most of us didn't notice the transformation while it was happening. We noticed it in the rear-view mirror. The conversation that would have devastated us in 2019 barely lands now. The version of ourselves we were so desperately trying to become, she arrived, quietly, without announcement. Now, this is the part I really want us to sit with it. When Chiron moves into Taurus beginning this June, permanent from 2027 through 2034, the entire nature of the wound shifts. Aries asks, who are we? Taurus asks, what do we let ourselves receive. These are not the same question. Taurus rules the body, pleasure, rest, what we allow ourselves to have, to feel, to keep without immediately giving it away. And what I see in the woman I work with, and honestly, in myself too, is that so many of us have done profound internal work, have healed old patterns, have rebuilt our sense of self from the inside out. And yet, there is still this quiet contraction around receiving, around taking up space without apologizing for it, around allowing ourselves to want a beautiful life, real ease, a relationship that truly holds us without immediately qualifying it, without making ourselves smaller, so the wanting doesn't seem like too much. That is the Chiron in Taurus wound, and collectively, we are walking directly into it. The question shifts from, do we trust ourselves, to, do we believe we deserve what we are building toward? Do we let ourselves receive it? Do we stop discounting our presence, our time, our care, not out of arrogance, but out of genuine recognition of what we carry? Taurus is also ruled by Venus, and Venus governs beauty, pleasure, the body itself, what we allow ourselves to enjoy without earning it first. Chiron here will surface the ways we've been keeping ourselves in quiet austerity, even when nothing around us required it anymore. So here's where we are. These final months of Chiron in Aries are a completion, a moment to look in the mirror and acknowledge the person who came through 7 years of initiation. Not to perform gratitude, just to see her clearly. And then to prepare, because Chiron in Taurus is coming, and it's going to ask something most of us find even harder than trusting ourselves. It's going to ask us to receive ourselves in our relationships, in our rest, in what we finally allow in instead of pushing away. In this simple, radical act of believing that what we are is enough, not because we earn it, but because we exist. The sky has always been a mirror. Right now, it's reflecting back 7 years of becoming. Do we finally see it? I'm Lucy from Find Your Whisper, and if this resonated, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me, where did you feel Chiron in Aries most between 2018 and now?